It's the 10th anniversary of the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Our second round of 9 for 2024. It's MotoAmerica Superbikes at Barber in Birmingham, Alabama at the famed Barber Motorsports Park. Hello everyone and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Greg White standing alongside Jason Pridmore, who's two-time national champion. Now, Jason, as we look at Junior Cup, we're setting the stage for that. So far, we've had 2 races this season, and we've had 2 different winners.
Yeah, we have. Matthew Chapin came out the first race of the year in Atlanta and started the season absolutely perfect with a win here in race 1. As you can see, it was a big battle between him and Ryan Wolf. Yandel Medina was in there. Cunnison was in there. This was the finish line, Greg. At the end, Chapin would take his first win of the season and his career. So that's a perfect way to start your season. We started off on race 2, Greg, a little bit different day. As you can see here, it was pouring rain, and these guys all went off down into turn 1, and it was this man, number 39, Yandel Medina, who would really dominate this race. He led all these laps, Greg, and as he came to the finish line, Yandel Medina would take his first win on day 2. So like you say, 2 different winners, and this championship's going to be really interesting this year with some new guys that we haven't seen up front before.
So for Junior Cup, here's the way it looks. There's only 1 point between Yandel Medina and Ryan Wolf, and Matthew Chapin right there at 34 points. This championship, as we expect it to be tight all the way to the end of the season. Can't wait for Junior Cup to get going. And how about this rider right here? This is Elisa Gendron-Bellin. And what we learned about her is she recently graduated from college. We'll learn more about that on the other side.
Now looking live at the grid here at Barber Motorsports Park. All of these Junior Cup riders, they have their helmets on. Roger, one rider in particular we didn't hear from at the beginning of this show is Matthew Chapin. We did talk to him in our preview show that we did yesterday. You see him there on bike number 95, and we know that coming into this weekend, in between Road Atlanta and here, he did do a club race. He was able to stay aboard the motorcycle, but for him in this early part of his career, what does he focus on today?
Just trying to consistently do the results. You know, even though he won that first race, if he leaves out here with the top 5 in that lead group, that's another good race. He's not, like he said the other day when we talked to him, is he wants to win every race, but he knows that's not realistic. So there's going to be, that's the thing, he is so young. He's going to have bad days. He's going to have a bad session. He's going to have a bad qualifier here and there. And he just has to put that behind him and today know that he did win that race in Atlanta, so he can definitely do it. But don't get down. That's the big thing I try to tell young riders when they're having a bad session or they're struggling on one day. Don't get too far down and then not be able to dig yourself back out.
And he's starting the race today from the 3rd row after qualifying 9th. So it's going to look very different for him, the opening stages of this race. And when he won the race at Road Atlanta, the first round of the championship, that was in dry conditions. We saw in those highlights that the second race where he was not able to finish inside of the top 5, that was very wet. So if weather comes in today, it's going to be another chance just to gain some experience.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys too, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle being at the front. Like Logan Cunnison, you know, he hasn't led a lot of Junior Cup races, and how they going to handle that. It's a lot different when you're behind somebody. It's a lot different than when you're in the lead and you're setting the pace and everybody's behind you. It's easy to make mistakes when you're out in front. So I want to see how he can handle that if he finds himself in that spot.
And Avery Dreyer starting alongside him in defense of his championship season. He has a lot more experience when it comes to the standing starts in the early parts of the race and just how to manage the race pace. So they're going to come around for this starting lap, and it'll be time to go Junior Cup racing.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Warm-up lap for Junior Cup here at Barber Motorsports Park. Let's take a look at the starting grid, how they qualified this mixed weekend. Logan Cunnison, Jason, on pole, 137.417.
Great lap for him. Then our defending champion, Dreyer, with Medina, Batty, Woodworth, and Ryan Wolf, who I believe second in points right now. Greg Ryan is, so he's starting from the second row. Block, Fernandez, Chapin, who we saw win in Atlanta, Keezy, Dreyer, and Carson King will round out row number 4. A little further back, Solly Mervis, Juliana Fernandez, Lendon Smith, Barber, Rivera, and Hollingsworth. And then Y, Black, James, Williams, Gendron, Rothenberger is back on row 8. So that's going to be, I believe that's our field. Yeah, that's our field. Got a big field for Junior Cup, Greg. And, you know, you always expect that the winner could come from the first, like, 2 rows. But, man, we got a solid, real solid first 3 rows here today with Chapin coming from 9th. So you're going to keep an eye on him as he won in Atlanta.
One of the better tracks to start here at Barber Motorsports Park. A nice sweeping left-hander into turn number 1. But you got to keep your eyes when we get to turn 5, Charlotte's Web. Lights are off. We're racing. Oh, a little bit of movement on row number 2. We'll see if there's a penalty there. But here we go. The clutches are out, and it looks like our number 1 plate's going to lead us into turn number 1.
Yeah, he got a great jump, did Dreyer. And yesterday during one of the sessions, Greg, it had rained in the middle of the session, and I saw Avery just sitting patiently. Everybody else went out, and with about 4 or 5 minutes to go, Avery kind of got himself out there, showing that experience of a champion as far as not being in too big of a hurry when the conditions weren't perfect. But you look here, he finds himself at the front. We saw him have a little tip-off in the first round of the season, so he's got a little bit of points to make up as we see him really backing up 3-4 wide down into turn 5 that first opening lap.
That's extremely downhill. A good overhead shot, but you don't get the sensation there. So Dreyer on the Bad Boys Racing, this entire field on Kawasaki Ninja 400s. Heading towards the museum corner, starting to sort themselves out in second place.
These guys don't want to see that gap get too much bigger to the number 1. As you can see, Dreyer is really trying to get away from guys here as he's already probably got maybe a little bit of like a half-second lead, maybe, Greg, as they go through that like chicane on the back straightaway. So they're going to have to get a little bit organized and not duff each other up too much.
Levy Batty in the mix back there as well on the 71. Now, Jay, what's interesting about Junior Cup, we see it time and time again, is somebody who gets out front for a lap or 2, and then as the riders get more comfortable, as a move up the inside.
Yeah, it was Eli Block that got a great start, Greg, from back there on that 3rd row. So he had moved himself up, and you can see Isaac Woodworth made a great pass as they came into that final little complex, that right-left leading onto the front straightaway. He lined him up really nicely, and these guys have kind of closed that gap back up as I saw a rider go back. I saw a rider go down in the background there.
You have to see who that is, but Woodworth out of Sanford, Florida on the BPM machine.
Is it Julie? Is it?
Yeah, it looks like Juliana Fernandez
fell. I saw her get out on that curbing, Greg, and I saw the front tuck on her. So glad to see she's up and okay.
Back up front we go, and it's so scrappy there for those last 2 podium positions. And it looks like Block trying to find some space as they go a little wide into the museum turn. Oh, and it looks like Eli Block's gone wide. So for Block, out of contention for this one, and he just tips it over. That's a shame for the number 92.
And people at home think, how does that happen? Well, like, gravel is so thick, isn't it, Greg? I mean, it's so deep. And if you turn the wheel at all just a little bit, especially going slower, you don't have any footing. So he goes down, but he's obviously up and okay. And we got it. It's tightening back up here at the front.
Let's get to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa, who joins us now. Hannah?
Greg, at the top of the show, you mentioned Elisa Gendron-Bellin graduated from St. John Fisher University in upstate New York. I chatted with her about it. She finished her bachelor's in sports management with 2 minors, 1 in international studies and 1 in languages and cultures. And she hopes to go into sports administration or maybe racing administration someday. But for now, she's going to stick to racing on the racetrack herself. Not just quick out there, but she finished her degree in 3 years as well.
Very impressive, as is the 71 of Levy Batty, who takes over the lead, JP.
Yeah, he gets down into that turn 1 area, gets by Dreyer. So now he's going to see himself move up. Logan Cunnison is still right there. As you can see now, he's on the left of Dreyer as well. Isaac Woodworth has also gone. We've got a lead battle of about 11-12 bikes that are all nose to tail. Nobody's really getting away. So as you can see here, Dreyer goes back down the inside of Batty as they went down into Charlotte's Web. So this is kind of what we expect to see in this class. A lot of dicing, a lot of passing back and forth.
And for those of you that watched the start of the race, the 71 Levy Batty on the Carnes Performance Kawasaki Ninja, he did move on the grid. However, we're getting word from race control that he did get the bike at a full stop before the light went out, and so no penalty for the 71. He was able to reel it back in. So we race as we see on the racetrack with Levy Batty in second place. Avery Dreyer, national champion, number 1 plate, trying to hold on to the lead. Down the hill they go. And it's going to be Levy Batty who takes over the spot, JP.
Yeah, this is just one of those races now where we still have 8 laps to go, and they're going to be constantly just trying to feel each other out of who's good where and what. And as you can see here, we've got a pass there, Greg, for second place. As I'm just trying to figure out the number on that bike, Greg. Sorry.
Oh yeah, with the way that this red number's on the green backing. Well, Levy Batty continues to lead the way, Hannah.
He does, Greg, and when I spoke to him, he said he spent the winter training on 600, so being back on the 400 is quite an adjustment. He clocks in at about 170 pounds, so he has to be really smart in his racecraft and utilize the slipstream to his advantage. They made a sprocket change for more drive out of the corner, but otherwise he needs to just make sure he hits all his marks and stays focused.
All right, so what Hannah's talking about is when she talks about 600 and 400, we're talking about the displacement of the motorcycle. 600s being larger and faster than these 400 bikes, but it is our pole sitter, Logan Cunnison, who is in third place, but a pass for the lead again as Avery Dreyer down into turn 5 takes the spot, but he has to go wide, and all of a sudden, just like that, we're going 3 wide for the lead.
Good for Logan. Logan's done a really nice job as we saw him get himself into second place, going to the big long right-hand sweepers at the end of the lap, and now he's got himself all the way up into the lead. So we've seen the 3 riders at the front all taking shots at leading this race, and just behind them you can see Jaden Fernandez and Isaac Woodworth. Both those guys are there. Jaden looks like he's made the pass on Isaac for 4th, so Fernandez is up to that spot. You can see there's the battle for 4th and 5th. And Trenton Kesey looks like he's going to get a good run on them as they head down towards very, very sharp, very, very difficult left-hander off that back straightaway.
Pass for lead again, the number 1 going around. The number 58, Logan Cunnison on the 58 at Gilbert, Arizona on the Speed Demon Racing Ninja 400. This is the kind of racing that we expect in Junior Cup. Nobody really getting away. There's a slight gap back to 4th place from 3rd as these three start to make their mark on this race. There's not a lot of places here, JP, at Barber Motorsports Park to really draft and pass to work with each other. It's like you just got to start throwing it into corners and making moves.
Yeah, there's no question. And all 3 at the front know that you don't want to get shuffled back too far either, do you, Greg? Because if you get shuffled back too far, to your point, there's not really anywhere easy to just kind of draft and pass. Now, saying that, on these small bikes, there's a lot of places to pass. You can see this is one of the areas where you can actually draft a little bit from the bottom of turn 2 up over through turn 3, 4, and then down into here as we see Batty again. He's going to go up underneath Cunnison. Is Cunnison able to cut it back up underneath him on the exit? Looks like he is. Dreyer just a little bit behind them now. He'll get a double bike draft, and he'll bring that whole field of riders behind him, Greg, back to the front with these 2 guys.
Just 1.8 seconds covering the top 9 in this race. We have an exciting one in Junior Cup race number 1. To the lead, Logan Cunnison, the 58, over the 71 of Levy Batty, the number 1 of Avery Dreyer, Jaden Fernandez, Kesey, Woodworth, Medina, Wolf, your 2 at the top in the points. King all in the mix in this one.
Yeah, and you go back to Chapin is in 10th. Ella Dreyer, so Avery's sister, is there in 11th place right now. So she's on the back of this big lead group, and Solly Mervis just off the back of them by about a second. So you almost have 12 riders. You got 11 riders in this lead group at the moment. So, and they are just nose to tail. The front 3 guys, though, Greg, have continued to show that they don't want to get shuffled any further back than where they're at right now. So when we start to look at them coming across the board right now, Trenton Kesey gets himself up to 4, so he's right behind Dreyer. And then you got Yandel Medina also, who's 5th, who won race 2 in Atlanta. So he's going to try to make his way forward. You see the first 2 guys, Greg, that's about as big a gap as we've seen between this group. But it's not going to take much for Dreyer to draw back up into the back of them as they break hard down in here into turn 5. As soon as these 2 guys get anywhere close to side by side, look what it does. It brings the number 1 right back into play.
Yeah, all eyes on the 4th place rider, Trenton Kesey, the 31 right now. And Kesey, out of West Melbourne, Florida, is in a good position to possibly, in a couple laps, we only have 4.5 to go in this race, put himself in that number 1 spot. But Cunnison trying to pull the pin. And make no mistake, those lines that you're seeing through that corner, part of the reason is the size, the displacement of these bikes.
Yeah, these bikes will use a lot more exit on the museum corner than you'll see in some of our other telecasts with the super sport machinery or even the super bikes. They rely on corner speed, Greg. So once they go over that curbing, going down into museum corner, they're just letting off the brake lever and getting on the gas and keeping that bike on the side of the tire. The RPMs will get raised up. As you see, Dreyer has gone back by Levi Batty. Logan Cunnison trying to make a break right now as we have a rider down in the back. That looks like
hard to see. 32
there. 32.
Yeah, Carson King.
Yeah, Carson King.
Carson King just lost the front on that back section.
It's easy to do there too. So Carson King goes down, and
Ryan Wolf now with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:37.7. Ryan Wolf back in 6th place on the 66. Keep an eye on that rider.
Guy at the front though, Greg, he opened up 0.7 of a second, and it looks like somebody was having trouble there. Can't tell who that was. Somebody's definitely, is that Dreyer? Does Dreyer have a problem with his bike?
He's out of the picture at the moment as the 39 Medina works his way into 3rd place. And yeah, Jay, we don't really see the number 1 back there.
I can actually see him from our commentating spot here. Dreyer's going down into turn 5 with his arm in the air. So we've had a little bit of attrition here on this lap. So you can see him looking down. Maybe it's a linkage or something going on with the shifter that he's out. This is a big hit for him, Greg, because like I said, we saw him fall over in the first race, and now he's going to get another no-point score here possibly.
With 3.5 laps to go, Avery Dreyer has had a problem. So your number 1 plate, who sits 9th in the points coming into this thing, only scored 11 points so far this season. It looks like for Avery Dreyer, looking down on the left side of the motorcycle, a big problem and out of this lead. As the last time we saw the stripe, it was Cunnison, and Dreyer was in 2nd place and now dropped back in the order. So heartbreak for the number 1. Back up front we go, and Cunnison having his way right now with the rest of the field.
He's done a really nice job of breaking away, and he's just gone his fastest 3rd split, so he's not slowing down for anything or anybody at the moment. So fast split for Cunnison in the 3rd. He's going to have over a second lead here, Greg, with 3 to go. So we'll see if he's going to be able to sustain it. And these guys behind him, they got to get to where they're not chopping each other up too much. Hannah.
Yeah, out front, our leader, Logan Cunnison, I spoke to him earlier today, and he said he was pretty confident that he would have the pace to pull away. He certainly backed that up. He said he is so confident because it's just a really smooth, fast track. It's not as technical, so it really lends itself to the bike and to how he likes to ride. What I think is really interesting is that he's only 15 years old, and he is homeschooled right now, so he actually, it looks like we have a rider down here.
Yeah, we do. Keezy's down, Hannah. So you were saying homeschooled, Hannah, for Logan Cunnison?
He just finished school a little bit early. He's not supposed to finish until next week, so it's nice for him to have that schooling out of the way so that he can really focus on his racecraft this weekend.
Well, if he's got school out of the way next week and he's focusing on racing, this field might have something to think about, because Cunnison is really putting on a show.
He is, but that guy right behind him now, 39, you see Yandel Medina. He's going to be putting on a charge. Levy Batty goes fastest 1st split of the race. However, he got passed by Ryan Wolf. So here's another look at Dreyer on the left-hand side of your screen. That was the problem that he ended up having. So right now, Cunnison has done a good job as far as getting himself to the front. I see Avery Dreyer just going back out on track from where we're sitting. And this is the thing, if these guys start doing this too much, they're going to allow Cunnison to keep getting away. But Ryan Wolf has found himself now trying to get back up to the front. Not exactly sure what that was from Medina. He's probably frustrated that guys are, getting up alongside and maybe trying to slow the pace up. But look, you're in a battle right now, and it's every man for himself. So keep your eyes looking forward. And as you see, Batty was the guy who took advantage of that.
Batty 2nd place, but Medina with a good drive on the straightaway would take over the spot. Cunnison now with a 1.6 seconds lead over the 39, the 71, 66, 95. Fernandez on the 13 back there as well. And of course, Medina leads this championship by a single point over Ryan Wolf. So the 39, 71, and 66, early days for this championship, but every point matters in Junior Cup.
Yeah, Cunnison's done the work now, and he did that by putting in another really fast 3rd and 4th split, and he was able to open up that gap on these guys. It was 1.1, and they actually looked like they were trying to chip away at it. And then just in that 3rd and 4th split, it jumped again, Greg, to 1.6. So a 37.8 that last time by for Logan. He has shown that he's able to get into the 7s. Matthew Chapin also did a 37.7 his last lap as well. But it might be just a little bit too much or too little too late for these guys behind. Here's a good look here, Greg, at Ella Dreyer as she battles. She's battling with Isaac Woodworth right now for 7th. So
great run from Ella Dreyer.
Yep,
and just right there, you can see the group right in front of her. If these two are able to work together and close the gap, it's going to be the possibility of a top 5 for Ella Dreyer. But for Logan Cunnison, who finished 4th in race number 1 at Road Atlanta and no points scored in race number 2. This is going to be a huge boost in the championship if Cunnison can hold on to this one as we come through our final set of corners for our race leader. It's going to be 1 lap to go as positions still being jostled around. And boy, for Ryan Wolf on the number 66, who's on that Wolf Racing Ninja 400, he's really got to figure out a way to maximize his points with Levy Batty blocking his way to Medina. This last lap so important as we continue to look forward. A championship that used to be 18 races long has now dropped quite a few races. So every point scoring opportunity makes a difference here in MotoAmerica Junior Cup.
Yeah, this is going to be a big scrap all the way down to the end. You can see Batty right now is trying to get it down the inside here of Medina. And he goes down the inside. We understand we've got about 1.5 laps to go in this race, Greg. So we'll see. There's no white flag out on our screen, so or out from our commentating position. So I know they still have 1.5 laps to go. So we'll see. Like again, Batty fastest first split, but it's only a 10th. It's only a 10th, Greg, from our guy who's actually leading. Is that Dreyer? I can't tell who that is.
But that also could be...
That's coming up over the back there. I saw him go back out as we have a red flag situation with a bike in the track here.
It's a red flag situation, and with the amount of laps that we have completed, this race should be called complete. And looking unofficially at that, looks like it's going to be Cunnison, Medina, Levy Batty, Ryan Wolf, Chapin, Fernandez, Woodworth, Ella Dreyer in 8th, Solly Mervis in 9th from 13th place, and Ryan Barber your top 10, but we'll wait for the confirmation of that.
Did we hear it was Marcus Williams maybe that tipped off there? I just saw the white, but I believe we're hearing it might have been Marcus Williams.
Could be the down. 18?
Yeah, maybe the
sorry, in 86, in 18th place.
Yes. This guy did the job though, Greg. 58 Logan Cunnison. I mean, he was able to get to the front. And like he said, or like he told Hannah, he felt like he had the pace to get away. And it looks like he's going to get his first win.
And he does it on the back of the fastest lap of the race on lap number 9. Something we've grown to expect here in Junior Cup. As the fuel load drops, it keeps going faster and faster times. And a 137.662 for Logan Cunnison on the last lap. And oh, there's the crash. Yeah. Just out on the grass. Trying to get it turned.
Yep.
Just using a little too much racetrack, and it is indeed Williams on the 86 who goes down. That was a hard hit, and it brings out the red flag, and that's going to wrap things up for this race. Wow. So guess what? We get socked to Logan Cunnison when we get back to find out how his race went. What a performance.
And we will continue with live coverage here as we watch this celebration of Logan Cunnison. But Roger Hayden, to your point, he wins his first race and he doesn't get to do it crossing the checkered flag.
Yeah, I'd be a little disappointed with that. But you can just see how happy he is with that win. And it's great for me to see him get that win and see his dad there, because I've watched Logan do the mini cup stuff for years, and his dad putting all that time driving Logan all around to doing all the mini cup races and the schools and the track days, and his dad's able here to come here and enjoy it as well. And for Logan, I mentioned it before the race, would he be able to lead and not make a mistake? How hard it is when you've never did it before. He looked like a seasoned vet, and just doing those lap times by himself without a draft, and you just see what it means to this young kid. Has been fighting for this a long time, and he's put his time in. He's traveled a lot the last couple years trying to make it in this MotoAmerica paddock, and he was so disappointed last race when he crashed in a podium spot in the rain, and today he looks like he made up for it.
Yes, and he finished 4th in that first race at Road Atlanta. So this is another solid points-paying weekend when we think about the championship that's just getting warmed up here. And when he was sitting there on that bike, he was the first bike to pull into the podium area, and saw him take a deep breath and just the weight that fell off of his shoulders. When you get your first win, and now you know that you're not only out there competing, but you know that you're out there and you can do it. You can beat everybody else. What kind of a feeling is that?
I mean, it's just a huge relief, and especially in Junior Cup, leading and every lap you're like waiting for somebody to come drafting past you, because nobody ever breaks the pack like he did. So you're just waiting for this big group of guys to come by you at any time. And you always question, last year he wasn't in the league guys, and you question yourself this offseason, can I catch that next group? Can I be one of those guys that can step up and be that next kid? And Logan has been really fast this year, and you can just look at the expression on his face, what it means to him. They've had some, it hasn't been an easy road for Logan, that's for sure. And he's came the hard way, and he's put his time in and his family, and it paid off today.
There's also been a number of riders I've seen as these pictures keep rolling here on MotoAmerica Live Plus that have come over to congratulate him. And you kind of get that behind the scenes look that not only did he win the race and he feels really good about it, but his competitors are out there and they're happy for him. That means they respect him.
Yeah, and it just shows you the character of the person whenever they're at the podium, and other people in other classes want to come and meet you there because they're genuinely happy for you. And it's great to see that. And it just, like I said, it just shows you what kind of type of person that Logan is. He's a great kid, and you can see the emotion there. And it's just, I don't know, I just love seeing when these kids get their first win.
Yeah, the emotion taking over, that coveted Dunlop hat, the yellow hat. You only get those when you make it to the podium area. So the emotion, it's going to sink in. He's going to get his first winner interview in just a moment. The coverage will continue right here.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Logan Cunnison getting into victory lane with a 2.0 second victory on the back of the fastest lap of the race on lap number 10. Here's a look at those results. 2 seconds over Medina, Levy Batty, Ryan Wolf, who didn't get to play out their strategy. Neither did Chapin, Fernandez, and Ella Dreyer. A great result for Dreyer back in 8th place. Let's get down to Hannah.
Logan Cunnison is having a rock star weekend, starting from the pole position and now capturing your first ever career victory in our Junior Cup class. Logan, take us through that race. How were you able to pull away there for this victory?
Once I noticed they were all messing around, out breaking each other and just messing around, I noticed if I just put my head down and get past them all, I would be able to get pole. Even from qualifying, I knew I was the fastest here because I'm already half a second faster, and it proved it. But once I noticed they were falling back because they kept messing around and out breaking themselves, I knew it was in the bag.
All right, so looking ahead to tomorrow, was there anything that you learned from this race that you could potentially make this a double win weekend?
Just get a good start and pull away again. This bike is just amazing. Thanks a lot to Ryan and the whole RTR crew for helping out this weekend. And yeah.
Big congratulations to our first-time Junior Cup winner, Logan Cunnison. Moving on over to second place today, Yandel Medina's got a bit of a podium streak going here. Yandel, what is it that's really made such a difference for you this season and allowed you to step up and to be a consistent podium finisher?
Well, it was all family and people helping me, friends, New York Safety Track letting me ride. I just want to thank everybody. Everybody has pushed me forward, helped me go for this championship. We've been doing it for three years, and happy to finally be on top now. Now I could compete like Rodeo and Lamondre and them back then.
Congratulations to Yandel Medina and Levi Batty rounding out your Junior Cup podium. Levi, we talked a little bit earlier about how you felt it was important to utilize your racecraft. Take us through your thought process during the race.
It was great. I mean, it was pretty hot today, and I'm glad that it didn't rain. But yeah, I had a pretty good start. Everyone was really good off the line, and I just, I'm a bigger guy towards, Junior Cup, so I'm just very happy in the ending. I'm sorry for who crashed. I hope he's okay, but it's never nice to finish with a red flag, but that's how it is.
Levi Batty rounding out your podium, guys.
Yeah, and that's a good point. When you're a larger rider and you're racing with this class, it's pretty crazy. But it's Logan Cunnison with his first 37.662. And boy, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. But our coverage is continuing to roll on here from Barber Motorsports Park. So hang tight.
We will continue this live coverage as we get to watch the podium celebrations here on MotoAmerica Live Plus of this Junior Cup race number 1 here at Barber Motorsports Park. And Roger, one of the things that I loved that Yandel Medina said after that second place finish, first of all, he's the only rider in Junior Cup who's finished on the podium in the 3 races so far this season, but he thanked his family for sticking with him and been doing this for 3 years now. And finally, he's up here competing, and that really comes from nobody giving up.
Yeah, and just you can't do it without your family, especially in Junior Cup. You just think about all the commitment the parents make, not only financially but the time as well. And for him, just showing that experience, he talked about the last couple years, and now he's consistent and he's not making the mistakes. He's been on the podium. He wants to win the title. He wants to, he mentioned all those other riders that he wanted to follow into their footsteps, and that's moving up to the next class, and that would be, on the podium every weekend. We'll put him in that championship hunt as we wind down the year. But, it's just great to see him up there and thank them and realize, the sacrifice that they've made and known all that they have done for him. And, they give up a lot. All these kids' parents give up a lot for these kids to chase their dream.
You saw Avery Dreyer there and made it over to the podium, and that's what we were talking about before. He came over to congratulate Logan Cunnison, and he gave him that fist bump, told him good job. That's the defending champ. That's the guy that Logan's been chasing, and he comes over to say congratulations. As we also saw Paul Carruthers from MotoAmerica come to get Logan, to take him up to the media center where he'll now do a winner's press conference for the first time. The coverage will continue here from Barber Motorsports Park. Still got to wrap up the Junior Cup show. Everybody will make their way over again to the media center. Those press conferences after each race will stream on Facebook. If you follow MotoAmerica, don't go anywhere.
Barber Motorsports Museum. What a spectacular sight. If you haven't been to Barber Motorsports Park, if you come here for MotoAmerica, definitely plan a day ahead or a day behind. It's a beautiful day outside, broken clouds, but a good look at the museum and how it relates to the racetrack. And even my commentating partner, Jason Pridmore, has got a bike and a set of leathers and all kinds of stuff at the museum. You got to come check it out. All right, this is what we've been waiting for. Championship standings. Medina now 61 points over Wolf by 8. Chapin in at 17 points. And Logan Cunnison marching up the leaderboard now 23 points back. Woodworth also right there in the mix. Boy, this championship is massively exciting. It's Junior Cup, and we get to do it all over again. For Jason and Hannah, I'm Greg. We will see you then.
And we will continue our live coverage here on MotoAmerica Live Plus from Barber Motorsports Park as we are in the second round of points-paying competition for the Supersport category that will be the next class that will take to the racetrack. And Roger, you look to the sky right now, those clouds are not as dark as they were at the start of the Junior Cup race. There was a storm system overhead that looked like it was going to be here by about 2:15. That seems to be pressed back a little bit, but the sun is now shining on a lot of this racetrack.
Yeah, and the sun was shining on these guys this morning in their second qualifier, and so it makes me think the track conditions is going to be pretty close to what they had this morning. As you see the radar right now, we're getting pretty lucky. We haven't got any of the rain. It looks like right now it's clear. So, you just got to be ready, though. You never know when a shower could pop up around here.
You see that blue dot right there on the edge of Birmingham. That's where we are at Barber Motorsports Park. So the weather certainly in the area, but it is not here just yet. So we're going to continue on business as usual with all of the racing that we still have on deck. It will be, again, Supersport that's up next. But for the 2024 season, Tom Duma Fine Jewelers of Ohio will produce custom championship rings and pendants for the MotoAmerica champions in the Steel Commander Superbike category, Mission King of the Baggers, Supersport, and the Mission Mini Cup by Motool classes. Tom will work with each of those class champions to choose from several designs that all have a retail value between $12,000 and $15,000. It's quite a special prize to commemorate a championship season, Roger.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have. And, you know, I remember when I won the Supersport title, Kawasaki always gave a championship ring away, and I thought it was really cool and still have it in my house. So it's great. Great for all these riders, and also, you know, that's a big commitment for Tom Duma. $13,000 to, you know, $15,000 is a huge, and that's something that these people, these kids and riders will hang on for the rest of their lives. And when they see that ring, they'll know that what they accomplished.
And it's 4 different classes that they're doing that for, so it's not just one potential $15,000 ring. We're going to step away, take a quick break. You see everybody still on pit lane. We'll be back to finish up coverage after this.
The Cardo Pack Talk Edge has been one of the coolest pieces of equipment that I use on a daily basis. It's crazy the technology that's gone into this unit. It's pretty wild. When I leave the house, I grab my helmet, I grab my gloves, my vest, whatever I'm gonna need, and I definitely don't leave without taking my Pack Talk kit. It's that important to me. Today, we're gonna go do a fan lap, and we're gonna strap a couple of these Cardos on a couple of the fans, and we're gonna chat with them. We're gonna ride in front of them and kind of tell them what the track's like and what we do around this track and why we take certain lines and where we're getting on the throttle and where our braking markers are. It's gonna be fun riding with these people. We're gonna strap these Pack Talk Edges on and get out there.
Hi, I'm Luke Calzone, Marketing Manager of Spectral Performance Oils. At Spectral Performance Oils, tradition runs deep. Most of you may know us by our first product, that Golden Spectro. And from then and back in 1966, we've come a long way, offer all